Refinement. Today I want to talk a little bit about how eBay is changing, or it's been changing for a little while now, but I want to go over the changes that they're making, and then this is a live Q&A that we do every single Monday, and that's it. So it'll take a few minutes for this to start going live streaming, so everyone put your questions in the chat and Christine will ask them, and then we'll go through all the questions. But before we get started, I just want to go over the changes that eBay, actually maybe I'll wait a few minutes before we get into the changes, just give you guys an update. Whatnot's been really interesting, so I've been running that on Thursdays. This Thursday I have a few different things I'm going to do. I'm going to do clothing for the first time. So we have 100 pieces set up that I'm going to auction off starting at $1. So I'll try clothing to see how that works. I have 50 pairs of shoes lined up to go auction. eBay store has been on fire. I posted on Instagram, over 100 sales a day still. And then I'm gonna try wholesale boxes after that. So the wholesale boxes are gonna be all the stuff that I got at the state sales that I don't wanna sell. So essentially on Thursday, I'm gonna do 50 clothing, 50 shoes, 50 random stuff at estate sales, my death pile. And I'm sure you guys will be able to find really good stuff because I sold that Nintendo Wii lot for $71 as someone said it was worth a couple hundred. So that's great. I'm happy to provide that and facilitate that, especially as I get more stuff. So make sure you smash the like button. Once we hit like 50 people, I'll go over into the changes that...
We're at 93.
Okay, 93. Okay, let's get into it. So the changes are, eBay is shifting away from acquiring new customers to repeat heavier customers. And you guys have noticed this because they are promoting stores now. So essentially now they are saying, please save this seller. So I recommend anyone who sells on eBay, you should be buying on eBay to figure out what the algorithms are like. So I'm noticing now way more repeat buyers because people are saving my store. So it's getting pushed out in the marketing. They're going after people who shop on eBay all the time. So that's number one. They're moving towards repeat buyers and they're not really acquiring new buyers at this point. So that's very interesting, and they're really focusing on 4 categories right now. So if you guys are listening right now wondering what to sell on eBay, they're pushing all their marketing to 4 categories, which are watches, bags, collectibles, and sneakers. So those are going to be the categories that eBay is pushing. And again, it's going to be the premier place always for the higher end of the collectibles, the higher end of a watch, all the rare, unique, one-of-a-kind, once-in-a-lifetime stuff. eBay is definitely going to be the right place for that because they have the largest audience, hundreds of millions of shoppers. Check eBay to see if it's available first. Of course, those categories are like, those are the hot categories. That's the Pareto's principle of reselling. So a lot of other companies have been jumping in. So we've got Etsy, StockX, Goat, The RealReal, Vinted, Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, Poshmark. They're all going after the exact same categories. And also now live auction sites are popping up. Whatnot is up, Pop Shop is going, and there's also now new Shopify plugins. So essentially, eventually, I can plug in the dailyrefinement.com, live auctions, and just run it on my own site. I don't have to do it through Whatnot and pay them an 8% fee plus processing, so 12% through Whatnot. I can just do it myself and keep the 12%. So all these new things are happening. So with eBay, I would recommend in the future, you should be focusing on watches, bags, collectibles, or sneakers because that is the trend. So collectibles can be anything. It can be stuff that you find at estate sales, garage sales. And tomorrow, do we have time today to do the video? I think we do. We're going to try to release the video for tomorrow, which is the sourcing guide. So I want to help people with all the best places to find stuff. I want to release that guide tomorrow. Also tomorrow, we're going to be releasing, actually tomorrow is the
yeah, we filmed something
how to sell something fast.
Yes.
Right? Okay, sorry. Tomorrow we're releasing how to sell things fast, and it'll be a grading system on how to make your items sell quicker. Thursday will be the video that releases with the sourcing guide, like where to look for things. But you need to be sourcing for things that are sort of more high-end because eBay is moving more towards high-end customers, and that is what it is. So eBay is moving that direction, so everyone get ready for that because that's going to be where I'm focusing on. I'm really spending all of my time looking for the best stuff because I'm noticing that's really the key, and people have been approaching me with a lot of different consignment options, and I'm really only picking stuff that is people are looking for. Hot stuff that's, you know, as my colleague Tech and Sports would say, cool stuff. Cool stuff is where it's at. Source stuff that's cool, and again, lots of people think different things are cool, so don't get caught up in like determining whether or not it's cool, just check the eBay solds and it will tell you whether or not it's good. So let's do some Q&A.
Tammy was saying, so what does that mean for clothing sellers?
So this is interesting. None of these sites, except for Poshmark, is focused on clothing, and even Poshmark, they really push the sneakerheads, the sneaker community. Clothing is the most challenging category, and I'll tell you why. Anyone can sell clothing on eBay. That's the main issue. So people are saying, why can't, or like, is Whatnot the future? Should I switch? And they're saying, we can't because they're only accepting people with social media influence status. So that is a barrier to entry, making it harder for you to sell on Whatnot. On eBay, there is no barrier to entry. Anyone can sell clothing. That's why it's so difficult. So if you're gonna be a clothing seller, you really need to niche down and know your category. And I can tell you sort of how to do this. The key is becoming obsessed with whatever category that you're thinking about or learning about, because if you're not gonna become obsessed with it, it's not gonna be top of mind. You're not gonna start to notice trends in that specific category. Like as an example, I no longer sell dress pants because people are wearing joggers, people are wearing sweatpants at home. Some people aren't even wearing pants. You don't need dress pants for work anymore, so I moved away from that category. Those of you that are entering in the dress clothing category, of course, there are still people who buy that. Not all offices are closed, but you would need to really focus in on that because it's very, very, very competitive and there's no barrier to entry. That's why I recommend everyone move towards collectibles, antiques, sneakers, bags, watches, things that people are looking for. It takes time to develop a reputation in that specific niche and for people to trust you. So get started now on that kind of stuff because that's the future. People want collectible things. That's why I applied on Whatnot to sell Pokemon, because people love Pokemon. And I didn't get approved in Pokemon because it's too saturated. So even me, I have a social media influence. They would not let me sell Pokemon because I don't have a history of selling it. So I have a history of selling clothing, so they approved me on clothing. And now I'm starting to prove to them that I have the ability to get shoes. So in the sneaker game, I worried about eBay because it was so diluted, right? So many people are stealing market share away from them. So now I think that Whatnot might have the opportunity to help me get the prices I need on sneakers by making it fun. So if you can make something fun, it increases the value of the item a little bit. This is why Disneyland can charge $8 for a churro. You're having fun, you're there, it's part of the experience. They can charge $12 for a lemonade because you're already there, you're excited, you're hyped. But if you're just going to Costco, they can't charge $20 for a churro. They can't charge $30 for a turkey wrap. It's not a good experience that's good enough to charge that. So there's probably a lot more questions.
Yeah, there are some questions. Hello, everybody. We got lots of people from around the world, which is cool.
Everyone smash the like button and let me know where you are calling in from.
Shark City Collectibles says, make sure to set up a weekly newsletter for your store. It will shoot an email each week with newly listed items for each of your followers.
That's great. So newsletter is great for any kind of business. You should acquire your own audience, and that really is the secret to longevity. So for me, I should have a better mailing list. I have one, but if I sent out an email to everyone saying, hey, I've got these new things for you to sell, that would be great. Essentially for me, what I would like to do is specialize in clothing on eBay, and I've been thinking about this a lot. Specialize in clothing on eBay. That's where I'm gonna live on for eBay forever. I don't think clothing will ever go away. So eBay probably will stay alive forever. It's just gonna get harder and harder as margins start to shrink and more people sell the same thing. So you can still do it, but it becomes harder over time. What I'd like to do is, because I'm an influencer, all the categories that I don't wanna specialize in and still get, I wanna wholesale that to my audience so they can make money. So I sold 12 pairs to Alfredo in the group for $700. He should be able to sell those 12 pairs of shoes for $2,000, right? Hopefully after fees, he doubles his money. That would be fantastic. I have no problem with that. That's what I want to do on Whatnot. And then on YouTube, what I'm focusing on is making tips, tricks, keeping you guys up to date with what eBay is doing. That's where I'm focusing on. But all of that focusing of energy has really helped me grow my business, and I think everyone needs to do that. If you want to be a little bit of everything, I think it's going to be really hard in the future.
Gowanus has a question. I have been attempting to refund a buyer for a combined shipping discount for 5 days and eBay keeps failing. Technical issue. Support has been unable to resolve. What do you recommend I do?
So that's a one-off situation that I wouldn't worry about too much, because if it's an eBay technical error, you won't be able to get negative feedback and they'll have to handle it eventually. So sometimes that happens when the payment method that you're using to issue the refund doesn't work. So it depends on your credit card or your PayPal or what you're using to refund the customer. If there's no balance in your eBay available funds, then sometimes it can cause that type of an error. For me, there's always funds in there, so it will just deduct from the available balance. And so maybe I recommend switching to weekly payouts if that's common for you, but most likely that's not common. It's a one-time situation. Also, the overwhelming majority of resellers are horrible. So for you to be successful, you can't do what those people are doing. Okay, 99% of people have a problem with one thing and it ruins their entire day. Negative feedback ruins their day. Something messes up with the refund, ruins their whole day. They can't find something, ruins their whole day. Horrible stuff can happen in my store, and it does every single day. I just keep doing what I'm doing, right? So that is the key. My colleague Tech and Sports had 8 negative feedback from the same customer. This person was irate. They had a combined shipping order that was their fault, right? And they left 8 consecutive negative feedback, all different essays of what was wrong. He just was calm, called eBay, removed it 5 minutes later. No issue, didn't mess up his day. His blood pressure probably stayed exactly the same. And that's the difference, right? Most people panic, complain, go on the YouTube. Like, just be careful to follow those people, because they're gonna get the same results as them, which is they're not doing so well on eBay. You wanna follow the people who are doing really well on eBay. And I wanna just ask this question, because I wrote this down before the call. Right now, we have these insane broadcasting abilities. I can talk to 10,000 people every single day when I post a video, which is mind-blowing. Should the best people in the world at what they do be allowed a larger audience? The reason why I ask that is because I've been changing my systems to model Tech and Sports in our group. He's the best one-off seller ever, okay? In my opinion, as for me meeting everybody, I'm modeling my techniques after the best person ever at this, right? So even if I fail, I still sell 50 items a day. That sounds so weird, but when you're modeling yourself after someone who sells 250 items a day in the store and 250 items a day or more in person in the store, if I only do half of that, I'm still making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. If I'm only doing 10% of that, still making 6 figures. So it's kind of like, should people who are really, really good get more of the audience? So if you complain, should Instagram say, you can only reach 2 people? Sorry, you're not very useful and you're always having problems. Sorry, maybe we just decrease it so only your dog and 2 of your friends can hear about your complaining. Everybody else doesn't hear it. But if you're doing really well and you have amazing systems, Instagram says, okay, you're doing really well. A lot of people would benefit from your information. 2 million people can see it. Instead of, right now, somebody complains, that complaining post has the most likes. That doesn't make any sense, because that's not true. Not everyone is struggling. So I would like it to be disproportionately populated. Those that are doing well, way more audience, right? So we're doing a live stream right now. If we're having a technical issue, I'd like the person who's the best at that to give us the information to fix it. Sorry, it's a lot of talking today.
No, it makes sense. Harold says, I would love if social media did that. And the ABC says, that's a great point, Chris, regarding Tech and Sports.
So if you guys just follow, okay, so more questions about date-based systems. So the reason why I use date is because if the number is smaller, I know it's older. That's the reason. The main reason why I do it is because when I can't find an item, it will be in the same area. So a lot of people have said, what if my items are different sizes? So if I sold this tripod and this pair of shoes, and the tripod was here, and the pair of shoes was here, I could still find it. It's the same system. So if it gets jumbled a little bit and something falls, let's say this falls all the way to the bottom, because people keep saying this fell to the bottom. You still know it's in this box. If it's 9437, you should be able to just, okay, it's in here, and just use your head and crane over and look into the box. You should be able to find it. I don't know why it's so complicated. if it's in that box, even if I'm selling quarters and it's at the bottom, I should still be able to find it. There's not that many items in the box. And if you have bulky stuff, this is even better. Bulky stuff, once the bulky stuff sells, half the box is empty, which makes it even easier to find because now most of it is empty space. Clothing is actually maybe the most difficult because it's all the same and every single box is jam-packed. If you're selling weird shaped items, most of the box is empty space. So it should be really easy to store any kind of thing in a box system. And somebody had mentioned that they sell consoles. If I sold consoles, I would get wider boxes because consoles are larger. PS4 is like that wide. I wouldn't use this box because it's not wide enough. You would if you sold Laserdisc, this big. If you sold CDs, might be only this big because CDs fit in that. So you would figure out whatever system that you're using. I do not recommend having big stuff system, small stuff system, medium stuff system, clothing over here, bags over there. That's way too complicated. Let's please don't do that.
Colin had a question. What sell-through rate are you looking for when you buy items? 50% sold to listed?
Okay, so let's give an example. Let's say you're selling this pair of Air Max 97s, right? And you look up the model Air Max 97 and there's 100 for sale, and you look at the 90-day total and there's 100 for sale. I would say if you're a beginner, that would be good enough. That would mean your item would sell in 90 days or less based on the average Air Max 97. So if you're just starting, I would use that or better. So in the analogy of, someone help me think of a different analogy other than poker, because not everyone plays poker, but if you do play poker, it'd be the equivalent of playing like jacks or better, or a pair or better. So you already have something that's better than most hands, you'll be okay. But in the poker game, some people play hands that are not good, hoping to get lucky. I don't know what this sold for, but maybe it's sold for this, or I heard this is really hot. So they take a chance, they take a gamble. But if you're just starting, I don't recommend taking a gamble. Somebody please think of a better analogy than poker, since a lot of people don't know what that is. But I just want people to start with a winning hand. Start with something that's most likely going to be profitable. And so sell-through rate, whatever is available for sale, whatever's in the sold, match those two up or better. So better would be, there's 100 Air Max 97 for sale, but there's 300 sold. So that means 100 sold every month. That means it should sell in 30 days or less. So a lot of people will say, I can't find anything that sells that fast. Bingo. You need to take your time, slow way down. You have a small store, maybe only 5 items in your store that sell really quickly, instead of listing stuff that will never sell. Please stop listing things that will never sell. Those do not count towards your listing goal.
Brandon says, what's the highest price you would pay to get your profit? For example, $10 on a shirt to make $10 profit?
For me, the highest I would pay is $100 to make 10. And as I do this longer and longer, it becomes harder and harder because there's so many people reselling. I'm starting to have to increase the budget of what I'm willing to pay to make 10 bucks. So I like the model $10, but it's becoming harder and harder. I think eventually it will cost $100 to be able to sell a $10 item. And people are saying, this is a perfect analogy. I can't sell on Whatnot unless I have a social media following. You can make a social media following, it just costs time, right? You've got to spend time providing value so people believe your influence online, right? That takes time, there's a cost to that. So essentially what you're doing when you're building a social media following is you're spending tens of thousands and millions of dollars of time to create something that's valuable for people. That's the same thing. If you look at time as money, I would rather spend $100 for something that I make 10 that comes to me ready to go, doesn't require any listing. I can just update the quantity. So for example, let's say iPhone 9. iPhone 9s are worth, I think it skipped to 10, right? So iPhone 10, it sells for $400. Bring it to me for $360, right? Or maybe that's too low of a margin, but maybe like 300 for 400. After all fees, shipping, returns, fraud, if I buy for 300 and sell for 400, an average only making $40 per item, that's what you're just mentioning, spend 100 to make 10. it would be worth it to me to sell items for 400 that I purchased for 300. If I get a lot of them, because it's worth it. The risk, the fraud is worth it. If you are just starting though, probably not worth it, because if you spend 300 and you get scammed, you just lost your 300 plus shipping both ways. So maybe you lost 350 and you can't absorb that in the beginning.
Lumix has a question.
Yep.
How do I get my status out of below average?
This is great. So we are going to post a how to sell things fast video tomorrow. If you are below standard, you need to follow the grading system to a T, because eBay will hide some of your listings. That's really important. Anybody below standard right now, write this down. eBay will hide some of your listings if you are below standard, so people can't see them. There's people in the group who have posted a listing, we can't even find it because it's literally hidden from the search. To get out from that, you've got to do a really good job on everything else. Fast shipping, great price, great title, great item specifics, great photos. Then, unfortunately, you're going to have to offer a better price. So eBay's algorithm kicks in and is like, okay, this person's in the doghouse, we're going to give them another chance. This item is really a really good deal. They've done a really good job, and now they've changed their ways. They start shipping things fast. They answer their customer service fast. Let's give them another shot. Couple months of that, you're back in business.
Question from Jay Avila. Recommendations for trading card store, 80% $1 cards, selling 10 to 20 every day. Want to encourage bigger orders from the same buyer. Started using volume coupons, but too soon to see results.
Let me scoot by you. I'm gonna get a couple of systems here. Let's talk about this. Here, I'll switch your places again. Okay. So I'm going to be setting up systems for two things because I'm interested in cards. I'm not going to be a card seller because it takes time to become a great card seller, but I want the systems. In our group, there's tons of people who sell cards. I did a card call last Friday to test, and nobody was an expert. Unfortunately, nobody really knew how to sell cards at the volume that I'm thinking. So if you look at the biggest stores on eBay, there's two different kinds of stores, media or trading cards, right? So you can either sell a bunches of loose cards, right? So let's say you're selling singles, right? So let's pull this out. If you're selling singles, right? And you have all these singles, most likely you're making between, I don't know, 10 cents to $5 on these cards, right? So what I would like to do is figure out the system, because there are scanners. There's a gentleman in the group, Colin, who has a scanner and he can scan 100 cards in an hour. So for that, I want to look at the system for how you can list 100 cards an hour. I think I can figure out how to list 100 cards a day pretty quickly, because essentially what you do is, let's say you're taking pictures with your camera. Pull it down, one picture, two pictures, inventory system, boom. So whatever my inventory system is for cards, store it. I'm going to put my computer for listing right here. Figure out the listing immediately, because I photograph and list in the same session. I wouldn't take 100 scans of a card and then go have a sandwich. I would just list those 100 items immediately, and I want to know how long that takes. I want to look at the right inventory system. This is the single card game. If you have tons and tons of cards available, people will naturally buy more than one. Great category. I'm glad that you're in it. The other difference would be like if you're selling graded cards, right? So if you're selling graded cards, the average selling price is going to be much higher. So in this game, right, it's going to be the balance of sending in cards to get graded, figuring out what grading service is the cheapest, figuring out what sites you're going to look for. As an example, I would like to trade a little bit of Pikachu just for fun, because I think Pikachu is cool. This card is a near mint PSA card, number 8, right? Grade of 8. I just bought one yesterday, Gem Mint 10. So 10 out of 10 PSA. I bought one on Whatnot, right? So I have some credits from the sign up service. So if you guys use the link that's in the top of the chat, join Whatnot, because on Thursday I'll be doing auctions, and also I find it's a fantastic place to buy inventory. So I think that a PSA 10 in this card is one of the most popular Pokemon cards of all time. It's going to be worth $250 eventually, right? So I purchased it, I think, for $160. Not the best deal, but I got it because I have the credits. and I can this later, but that's different. This game of selling slabbed cards is a much lower volume, higher dollar amount. If I'm going to be doing cards though, I'm really interested in having a 100 card per day system in our group, which will happen. I'm sure that 100 cards per day is totally doable. What you would do is you would spend, my guess is 4 hours listing 100 cards, photograph list, and you would spend 4 hours online looking for deals. That's what a card dealer would look like. Someone in the group was saying they want a 50,000 card store. I think you could build a 50,000 card store in 3 months because regular individual cards are not expensive. You're only paying pennies on the dollar for this type of stuff. And it's in one of the categories that eBay really likes, which is collectibles. So I'm a huge fan of anybody trying to do cards right now. I don't have any interest in doing cards except for I want the system that can list 100 cards a day. And I think you're looking at it. I think it's your phone, take pictures, computer, just literally get a swivel chair, turn, take photo. You can do it sitting down, okay? You can't take photographs of clothing sitting down. So anybody that can list clothing can sell cards. Sorry, card sellers. It's much easier than clothing, to be honest. Looking at all the different pieces, the only thing that might be easier is maybe media is easier since they all have an ISBN number. Boom, pulls up all the information. That might be easier, but I think the second easiest category to list the volume is probably cards. And my proof of that is there are tons of stores with 50,000 cards, and there's like 20. There's like thousands of card stores with tens of thousands of listings, but like 100 clothing stores on all of eBay that have more than 10,000 items. It's really, really, really hard.
Mashari says, what do you mean by eBay is changing? Are you ready? I'm a newbie eBay buyer, and
Yep.
I purchased rare VHS tapes specifically on eBay.
Yep.
What would happen to me as an eBay buyer on the new eBay changes?
It's exactly the same, except for it's better for you because eBay is shifting more towards watches, bags, collectibles like your VHS and sneakers. That's like their heavy focus is on those 4 categories. And eBay has been declining for 10 years in a row. So eBay is still the second largest platform, and they have about 5% of all sales online. So I think people don't understand how ridiculous that is. That's like $84 billion a year is done on eBay. They do more in sales in one day than Poshmark and Mercari do in a whole year combined. Like, let that set in how big eBay is. But they really do only focus on a few different categories. The other category that we haven't really touched on that I think is huge is still auto parts. I don't know a lot of auto parts. There's a lot of auto parts sellers. That category is massive, and maybe you need to be connected with a dealer or a parts shop to do that, but I don't think that's ever going away. There will always be a massive auto part category on eBay.
GCD Info is asking,
Yep.
is sourcing more difficult in big cities like Los Angeles and New York? Thrift store prices are through the roof here in LA.
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult to go thrifting. Thrifting, I would say, is the 4th best place to find inventory. Number 1 will be garage sales, but garage sales are difficult to go to year round depending on where you live. Also, if you get there too late, you're not going to find anything. So garage sales number 1, flea market number 2, thrift store might be number 4 under estate sales. Thrift stores are going to get more and more and more expensive, and I'll tell you, they're killing it because more and more people can't afford a brand new item. So if I was a thrift store, I'd be raising my prices like crazy because they can afford it. People would rather spend $20 for this Volcom shirt. They could charge $9 for it at the thrift store, even though they got it for free. And someone would be happy to do that because this is $20 at the mall. So, or $30 at the mall for a plain t-shirt. So I see thrift store prices rising, and I think it's still easier in a city because there's more people. People, especially in the United States, buy too much stuff. I'm almost to the point now where I want to sell all my clothing and only wear Old Navy because, like, I'd rather use that money to put into the machine so it can make more money because right now the future is uncertain, right? So we don't know what's going on in Europe. It's insane. What I try to do right now is, because a lot of people have been asking me about Ukraine and how that affects everything. Right now, I don't know. It could be very bad. So my point is, try to focus on what you can control, because if I spend like an hour researching stuff in Ukraine, it ruins my whole day. So I'm trying to stay as productive as possible. I know the situation is bad, but I'm really just trying to focus on things that I can control, because the gas prices might hit $10, rent might double. I just want to be prepared because I can't really control that.
Let's see. Question from Rackbone.
Yep.
Would you sell an item new with tag that has a small pinhole in the collar because the thrift store decided to staple the tag there?
I would sell a shirt with a hole that big in it. I sold, Patagonia has samples here in the Bay Area, and they cut a big hole in the shirt. I still buy it and it still sells, because people will just wear a jacket and no one will see the hole right there. That's literally the size of a baseball. Like another brand, Duluth Trading Company, Carhartt, it can be damaged, stained, huge hole, torn, stretched, still sell. But then if you're selling like a tuxedo shirt for a wedding, it couldn't even have one pen mark on it, because that's gonna look ridiculous. If you're getting these really expensive photos at your wedding, you don't want to have a little ketchup stain right here and it wouldn't sell.
So it depends on the item.
Depends on the item. Always check comps and see how heavy of demand is in that item. And some people will repair the item. So if you have Gucci, Prada, something really up there, then you could sell something with a stain, even though it's fancy, and somebody will repair or rehash it and do it.
I wonder if they're also asking like that they could sell it as a new with tag item.
You cannot. Anything, I would consider, if there's any flaw with it, just sell it in the pre-owned category.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's from Tech and Sports. There's not a lot of traffic in the new without tags, new without box. By the way, since he's handing out so many of his secrets, support him. If you don't want to support me, supports me too. But patreon.com/The Resellers Podcast. There are over 2,000 people in there. We've got Zoom calls on almost every single category, or at least we're working on it. A 24-hour live help, and I just refined the process a little bit in the calculator in there. Meaning, what I recommend you do is you go into the 24-hour room, because we have it running all day, and say, I'm going to work on my photos. Turn the camera on, do photos for an hour, report back what you did. That is the absolute best way to do it. Mentorship, in my opinion, is you doing it, and then we show you what could be improved. Instead of, help me, my store is, I don't know what's wrong. That cannot be fixed. That is a super duper loser mentality. Do not say, my sales are slow, I don't know what's happening. You might as well go get a job. You might as well give up. That's a horrible attitude. If your sales are slow, try to find something that could be improved. There has to be one thing. There's no way that you are like, everything on earth I've tried and nothing can make my sales go higher. This is how I want you to look at it. Please change, make progress daily. Think of this as your mindset. If one person has done it, you can too. Change your mindset. No more, my sales are slow, I don't know what's happening. You cannot have that mentality. Unsubscribe right now. Go to somebody else's channel, because I do not subscribe to that whatsoever.
Let's see. There was a question from a member. There we go. David Flanagan. Would you recommend a new seller, like right now, to get started on eBay in this declining, uncertain eBay future?
Yeah, absolutely. It's because it's the easiest.
The easiest platform?
It's the easiest platform to start.
Oh,
There is no actual, there's no barrier to entry.
I'm just going to put this
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Christine's getting a workout following me
Get a
around.
workout every... okay.
So yeah, I recommend that you start, but if you can, try to sell in those 4 categories. Watches, bags, collectibles, sneakers. Those are the main things eBay is looking for and pushing. Overall, again, it's number 2. So it's weird because people will hear eBay is declining and they don't realize that they do. Somebody please do the math for me. What is $84 billion a year daily? It's a lot. 84 billion, that's 9 zeros. What is 84 billion daily? That's like a lot. It's a really high number. So if it can't sell on eBay, you honestly can't sell it. You can sell anything on eBay. And you don't need anything. You don't need social media influence. You don't need anything. You just need something that has a history of sales.
CJ, ask your question again because I might have just missed it.
Okay.
Doyle Warehouse, have you thought about leasing a house versus the 3 storage units?
Yes. So can you see me in there? Is it
Yes.
Okay.
you can see.
So yeah, we are looking for a place that we can either rent or own where we can set up an eBay studio. And this sounds a little bit weird, but I might cap my store at 10,000 items because I'm a little worried about eBay. Let's see, what am I worried? I'm worried about eBay being too expensive. I'm not worried about my items not selling. I'm worried about eBay being a little too expensive, which means I only have one way to handle it, which is I have to sell better items. So if I have to sell better items, that means only one thing. I have to spend more time sourcing. So in that scenario, if I have to spend more time sourcing, my store will just naturally be smaller. So I'm gonna have less and more expensive items, and I always recommend that for people who are just starting. Yeah.
We got a super chat. Thank you,
Thank you.
PE Picker. I'm attempting both reselling and growing my YouTube channel.
Yep.
How do you recommend balancing them both, plus having a newborn?
Wow, you sound like me.
Yeah.
Okay, is VE Picker?
PE Picker.
PE Picker. Okay, so this is how I would handle it because I'm not, our daughter is going to turn 1 this month. So I just went through that. So how I would do it is you're going to have to do time buckets of time. So what I used to do is my schedule was for the first couple of months of having a baby, it was super intense. So I would go for a run in the morning, come back, do all the baby stuff, which took about 3 hours. Then I would do all the reselling stuff that I could in about 4 hours. And then I would come home, do the rest of the baby stuff, which took like 6 hours. I think it took easily 10 hours a day the first 2 or 3 months of having a baby. It's so intense. Okay, I wish somebody told me that it was going to take 10 hours a day because it is ridiculously hard. And that's me as the guy. It's much more difficult for the woman because if you're doing breastfeeding, that's basically 24/7. So that part of it is intense. So once I did that, how I did the YouTube channel was I was just doing it in the middle of the night. If you guys followed me last year during this time, I was posting videos like at 1 in the morning. I just didn't have any other time during the day to do it. So it was like a lot. Trying to do YouTube channel and eBay store and the Patreon last year was extremely difficult. Now my daughter's a little bit older, it's much easier. And I got to the point where I thought, okay, you know what? My main focus is the eBay store, so I'm gonna outsource the video production. So Christine comes in for 3 hours Monday through Friday. We make the best video that I can, right? And then she leaves at 1 o'clock. I handle the rest of the store and all my other projects. And then when I go home, it's all family time, hard stop because I've got to go pick her up. Now that I have a daughter, I spend a lot of time driving. I used to not do that before pre-baby. My commute was only 1 mile. I decided to pay more for a storage unit that's right next to where I live instead of going further away because I don't like commuting. But now because of the baby, and I assume this will continue forever, driving her to and from childcare takes an hour and a half a day sometimes. So that's eaten a ton into my time. And I think realistically, first couple of months of the baby, minimum 10 hours a day baby. Now the baby time has been reduced to 4 or 5 hours a day for me. I posted it on my Instagram too, and that's because of childcare. Hiring out the childcare, you get back 8 hours of your day. So depending on if you are a stay-at-home person doing it, I would say that's probably a solid 13 hours of your day is going to be for your kids. And this is going to be unpopular, but that still leaves you a couple of hours to work on your eBay business. Not much, but a little bit of time. You're going to be tired, so make sure that you have just this burning desire inside of you to do this, because I don't know how to explain how hard it was. It's like mind-blowingly hard to run multiple businesses and have a newborn. And that's only one kid. There's people in the group who have a gaggle of kids and do everything. So it's a lot.
CJ is asking, I'm a hat seller, and now I'm
Yep.
wondering if I should niche down into older models with the new emphasis of collectibles.
I love the hat game. It's epic. So I follow a hat seller that does a couple $1,000s a day in custom hats. So I would recommend, if I was doing hats, to do a bunch of stuff. I would have all the sports teams somehow. I would do that. I noticed locally there's a company called True, True. They opened up a brick and mortar store, and they're doing collaborations with New Era, with, I don't know what the brand is, that's 47, but whatever the brand that has the apostrophe 47, they do collaborations with that and New Era and do really well. I think that New Era is a really, really good brand to collaborate in and make your own designs. That's how I would approach the hat game. I would do a little bit of custom and do the best I can at getting real licensed stuff, because super brand heavy on a hat. So whatever the logo is on it, very, very, very important. And I think also, I saw in a Rally Roots video, they had some John Deere patches sewn onto a hat. I don't know the legality of that type of product, but I wonder if you can use licensed product and put it onto something else and call it a custom. That seems like a fantastic idea, because if you could buy a licensed Green Day patch, right? They get paid. You stick it on a blank hat, you have a Green Day hat. I don't know what the legality is of that. I think that that's not allowed technically, because you're still profiting off the likeness of them, and you didn't get a license for that hat. Somebody in the chat explained if that would work or not, but I thought that was really interesting, having a legit patch on a blank. Can you do that for a shirt or a sweater? I have no idea.
Question from Easton. Would building a social media presence be a good move for used shoe seller, or continue to focus on increasing store productivity?
Well, one problem with focusing on influencer marketing is that what if you don't make a video that day? What if you're not posting on Instagram that day? What if you die? That's like a situation where your sales would just stop if you're totally based on influencer. That's why I like the idea of Daily Refinement being a brand, right? So it's easier if you have a brand that can continue without you. Nobody knows Phil Knight. Nobody cares about Phil Knight when they're buying a pair of Nikes, right? He's built the brand, and so the founder is not related. I highly recommend, if you can, to do something that's not related to social media. Try to create something that's not you, so that you can take a break and a vacation, because honestly, being on camera all the time, it's a bit annoying, especially if you do end up making it and you become really famous. It comes with its downfalls as well. If you're gonna be known in the used shoe community as somebody, that's cool, but other people in the used shoe community probably don't care and are your enemy. So maybe you'd want people who buy shoes to know you as the plug. But honestly, all the money in shoes is in new shoes, in my opinion. Most of the money is in new or rare. It's not in cleaning up, like you go to the store and you pick up a pair of Red Wings that's destroyed for 20 bucks at the thrift store, go home, clean it, sell it for 200. There's no future in that. That's just you being a shoe cobbler. There's no branding in that. You can make a living doing that, but you spend most of your life cleaning and repairing. So that's a difficult situation, because it's so hard to find good used shoes, and the prices at thrift stores continue to go up. I just was thinking to myself a couple of weeks ago that there's not a lot of used shoe stores, but there's an insane amount of new shoe stores. So there's an insane amount of thrift stores. Most of the thrift stores are used clothing. So yes, they do have a few shoes, but usually it's only a couple of racks. They wouldn't be able to make it just with those couple of shoe racks. So that's made me go away from used shoes. Plus I hate cleaning shoes. All the shoes that I sold on Whatnot, I heavily discounted because I didn't want to clean them. So that's how I would do it. I hate cleaning shoes.
MNB says, what are you defining as collectibles as? Old stuff, new stuff, etc., or literally anything that people like to collect?
Literally anything people like to collect. So antiques are fine. Collectibles are fine. One-off rare things are fine. Anything related to any movie, any nostalgia, any movie nostalgia, any video game, any character, anything people would have owned when they were younger, all of that stuff is collectibles, nostalgia. So it's pretty big. It's pretty much everything.
Amber, Christine's the best. Thanks, Amber.
Yeah, she is the best.
Oh, thanks.
Agreed.
Let's see. Deborah, I love your Videos. I have learned so much from you since I started selling in October. I do it part-time as I have a full-time job, but I'm hoping to do it full-time soon. Cool.
By the way, Chris, are you trying the lab today?
Yes.
Christina's trying a lab today. I think this is our first live with 2 labs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let us know if the volumes are the same, because sometimes she's too loud, I'm too loud.
Yeah, the past videos I was not on a lav. I was just on like a raw mic, so I was like really loud. So I'm trying
Hopefully
to
it's
use
more equal
a
this
lav
time.
as well this time. So let's see. T. Joe says, I have a buyer that left negative feedback, opened a return, and sent back the exact same model radio, just switched mine for his broken radio. Never answered any of my messages.
So what I would do if you have free returns is issue a 50% refund, call eBay, send pictures. Hopefully eBay gives you a full refund. If you've done a good job on your other items, they probably will. That's how I would approach it. I try to avoid more expensive items for that reason. That's why I think eBay is the best in the $100 to $1,000 category. There is some fraud. There are people who send back their broken stuff. That's one of the reasons why I don't sell vintage electronics, because people on Instagram who post those things, they usually don't get past $30,000 to $60,000 per month. So that might sound like a lot, but I don't think it is. In the vintage electronics game, $30,000 to $60,000, once you subtract the ungodly amount of time it takes to clean, test, ship, and handle returns, is the same as every other category. So I would just prefer not to have to go through all of that. But if you do sell a vintage electronics, it's totally fine. I made a joke a couple years ago saying that all used electronics have bugs in them. Not true. Sometimes they do hang out in there, but it's a good category. It's just different. You have to really focus on preventing the returns and preventing the switchback. It's almost like in your pictures you have a specific thing that buyers would know, okay, this seller knows what they're doing, and they probably won't get away with it. So just be careful. When you report the buyer, eBay will take note of a buyer who's scanned multiple people in the row. They're more likely to side with you. So don't worry. Fraud happens, but it's the overwhelming minority on eBay.
Tyler Burton is asking, what are some top-selling brands of sports apparel, jerseys, and dry fit besides Nike and Adidas?
So what I would do is look in that category, and what I would do is join the Patreon group, go to Tech and Sports' page and scroll down to the zip code lookup tutorial, and he will show you how to look up in your area. But essentially what you're doing is go to the category on eBay, select the category you're looking for, click solds, rank from high to low, and just start reviewing on eBay which items sell for the most in that category. That's the key to figuring out what sells well in your category, and then everyone focus more on that. If you are going to be the type of seller that's going to get stuff for free, I hear this all the time, all my inventory I get for pennies on the dollar. That scares me, because that means you're lazy. I get all my inventory essentially for free. $1 is what I usually pay for my items, that's essentially free. I'm still ridiculously picky, okay, even though it costs $1. So people are asking, well, would I pay my buyers or suppliers locally for the items? It depends how picky they are. If they're bringing me perfect, ready to list stuff, I'm gonna pay all the money. This guy reached out to me from LA and said, I have $20,000 worth of stuff. Can I drive it up and you make me an offer? My offer is gonna be like $20 because I have to look through it all. I thought he had $20,000 worth of stuff manifested. So I knew, like, okay, this is how much it's worth. So I can quickly go through that. Then I would be able to pay all the money because I know what it is, what it's worth. If it's a big pile and I have to do all the work, I'm probably going to pass, even for free.
Comment from Far From.
Yep.
eBay is no longer the easiest platform to start because of selling limits.
It is. It's still the easiest because it goes away after 2 months. So I don't know why people are so worried about this. Just sell your 10 items and they will increase it. I went from an item limit of 10 items to like 6,600 items in 90 days. So that's more than enough for most people. eBay is the most difficult to learn, but has the lowest you don't need anything to start. You could take a picture with if you have a smartphone, if you're listening to this, you probably have a smartphone. Take a picture with your smartphone, upload it, Go to the post office when it sells. They'll print the label for you with the QR code. They'll put it on there. Only ship with free post office supplies. No supplies, no printer, no label, just your smartphone. Don't have internet? Go to McDonald's. Tons of people do that. In the parking lot of McDonald's, make your listing, or go to the library and use their computer for free to make the listing. Upload your photos, get started, but it's complicated. There's a lot of item specifics. You have to know what the price is at. You have to know what the keywords are. It's the most difficult to learn, but requires the least to start. So it's really odd, right? It's really this weird situation where Poshmark, Mercari, way easier to list, 1/100th of the audience though. So also, in my opinion, not the best experience. If I'm looking to buy something I'm really looking for, eBay is not too bad. Amazon's the best, eBay is second best. So we're talking about customers here. How many customers do you really need? If you can't find your customers on eBay, you probably will fail trying other platforms because it's the easiest to find the customer. But again, it's so subjective because I'm talking about eBay is the easiest. If you've done any other kind of job in your entire life, eBay will seem super duper easy. It's just the most difficult of the eBay e-commerce platforms. So it's hard to go to Poshmark, open up the app, there's 4 item specifics and a price, do it. You can just share over and over and over again and get traffic. Hard to compete with that, but that's not the best experience for the buyer. I'm looking for, a Balmain sweater, but it keeps showing me this Banana Republic blazer because somebody keeps sharing it. No thanks, go into a different website. So it comes with its pros and cons.
Royce, question for Chris. Checking out shelves right now, have you tried the Wallin, or is Husky the only trusted brand you'd recommend?
I think Wallin is fine. I think I like the people who have the shelves that can affix to the wall. Those are the safest. Husky is fine. I would just recommend that you're under half of the weight capacity. To me, that makes me feel safe. So like if it's rated for 100 pounds and you only put 50 pounds on it, that's fine. The reason why I picked the Husky shelves is because they're rated for thousands of pounds and I need that because clothing is so heavy. So it just depends on what it is that you're selling. And there are plenty of reputable brands. And I think the Husky shelves are a lot more expensive now. So again, I would just pick the best shelves you can afford. And I'm not opposed to you making your own shelves. Jeff in the group has a really, really nice shelf setup that he made for a couple of $100 himself with 2x4s. Doesn't have to be expensive, and 2x4s are strong enough to hold most stuff.
Dom says, how many storage units do you have and what is your unit size? I would like to get electricity, but I would have to upgrade to an office. And I know someone else in the chat was asking, how do you even have electricity in yours?
So I have a commercial storage unit which has a light commercial license. If you get a commercial unit that's just residential, they will only at best have the clicky light. And the clicky light, you could kind of jerry rig it so that it has electricity, but you'll probably get kicked out of your unit if you do that. So I'm not opposed to getting office space because it's actually cheaper at this point, but I do pay a premium to have electricity in a commercial unit. And I would just look locally. It took me about either 6 or 9 months of being on a waiting list to get in. So it's not super easy to find spaces like this. I have 3 units. They're 400 square feet each. But because things are selling so quickly, I only use 1.5 of the 3 units I have. So I might reduce it to 2 units depending on how difficult it is to acquire inventory. So one thing I am considering is, because the Whatnot is doing pretty well, maybe I'll start working with suppliers. Like, people keep telling me they have a great eye. Okay, come work for me. If you can provide, let's say, 100 to 500 pieces a week of stuff that has X amount average sale price, maybe I'll start working with buyers. And if that's true, I'll keep all 3 units. So the third unit can just be all inventory that's ready to list that week. And then we'll list it either back here. Right now I'm building the set for Whatnot. So all this stuff back here, hopefully I sell it all on Thursday so I can have this cleared out and just make a nice little area where I can hang the item and then sell it.
Mal is asking if something doesn't have many listings or solds, should you stay away from that niche?
If you're just starting, yes. If you're just starting, only sell things that are popular. It's just not worth it to get a big store of unpopular items.
Donna's World is asking, Chris, if an item has lots of views, at what number would you reduce the price? For example, 150 views, no sale, new seller.
It depends on the item. I don't really pay too much attention to the view count. I just pay attention to the existing competition. So the views is the least important. That's like number 100 in importance. I would look at, is there other items that have sold? How long does it take those items to sell? And I guess it comes down to this. Tell me in the chat if you guys agree with this or not. I have a really good friend. He said, if it sells in less than 90 days, I priced it too low. Let me know what you guys think. He wants 3 months of eyeballs on his item, hoping to get full price before he even entertains an offer. So he's asking $100 for the item. He will wait 90 days. If somebody offers $99, he will not take it. He will wait 100 days to find that buyer because his items are hard to find. So he's like, I don't want to let it go unless X amount of time has gone by to give it a chance to marinate in the eBay system to get all of the money, because it's so hard for me to find my items. I want all the money. The opposite would be like me. I'll take any of the money because they're so easy to find clothing. If I'm in at $10 and you want to give me $20, I'm not going to wait for $21. I'll take it the same day. So let me know what you guys think. Do you want to wait and get every single penny, or do you want to keep it turning?
Question from the Nerd Nest. Any
Nerd, what's up?
tips to securing repeat customers?
Yes. So when I posted my Instagram 90-day total, my 90-day total for sold is double what my amount listed is because of repeat buyers. So that really comes down to selling in a specific category. This morning, I had nine orders of 3 or more because I sell pretty much the same thing. If you went into my store, you could find 5 shirts, 5 pants, 5 sweatpants, all in your size probably. And that's how you do it. You just have tons of inventory that's the same.
Question from Randy, accounting/text question.
Yep.
If items were purchased a few years ago and now listing it on eBay but forgot or don't know the cost of the item, what should I put on the spreadsheet?
So we have an accountant in our group. Her name is Cheryl Miller. But what I would recommend is market value. So let's say the item is worth $100 now. Or let's say you had it a long time ago and you don't have the receipt and don't remember. Or your uncle gave it to you, or whatever situation, you have it and you don't know what it costs. I would use the market value as the cost. But again, I'm not a CPA and I can't give you legal tax advice. That's what I would do. I would use the current market value as the cost of goods. So as an example, on this steamer, right? I bought this steamer a long time ago. I don't remember what I paid for. I actually do have the receipt because I bought it on Amazon, but let's say I don't remember and I want to sell this. I would look online. I would say the Jiffy steamer, this one's probably worth about 200 bucks. I would use it, the cost of goods of $200, sell it for 200, and then I would owe no tax on it. So I would account for this as the current market value price. But again, some people would tell you, put the cost of goods to 0, pay tax on all of it. So the highest you can do is the full price, the lowest you can do is 0. I recommend current market value for something that you don't remember or someone gave to you.
Bearded PokeTuber has a comment. I
What's
was
up?
hesitant to make the jump into eBay after only selling on Mercari and Facebook for the past year. Since I started on eBay in the end of January, I already done almost 4K in sales. Worth it.
Love it. Bearded PokeTuber, that's awesome. I would say that eBay is one of those things that you do forever. And if you can get obsessed with it just for a little while and figure out how everything works, it'll help you in so many areas of your life. And then one other thought on the accounting. So this morning I was trying to figure out what the best things are of the group. Number 1 would be figuring out your accounting and bookkeeping. Understanding how eBay works, nuts and bolts, all the fees, will only take you about 2 hours of concentration. Like, sit down, okay, this Squirtle, which is going on sale on Thursday, so everyone don't miss it. People were saying they were frantically looking on eBay to see if it was for sale. It's going on sale on Thursday. And also the reason why I'm going to sell it is because I get like gifts and people send me stuff on YouTube. And thank you for this, but I want to start putting plush in here that I actually picked myself. That's the only reason. I'm grateful for Squirtle, but it's time to go. But if you sit down and think, okay, I sold this Squirtle for $100 because sometimes stuff like that goes like that high when you're an influencer. And I know in this category, $11.70 would be the eBay final value fee. So $11.70. I paid 5 cents to list the item because I have an anchor store, right? eBay charged me, in eBay and search, let's say I have 300 items in my store and I paid $300 per month. So $1 for the store fee. I know it costs $6.28 to ship this little guy to you. And I subtract all that and I end up with $74 profit. That doesn't take that long to understand, but once you do, in your brain, you're like, okay, each time I sell a Squirtle for $100 because I'm an influencer, I make $74 profit. It starts to churn, and that is priceless. It's worth anything. It's worth thousands of dollars, honestly, figuring out what actually the numbers are.
They're saying, no, Squirtle.
I know. He's going on Thursday. So, because I will get more plush. But he's got to go.
Maybe we need to make our own, like,
we need
plush
to make
for
our own
daily
plush.
refinement.
Yeah, we'll make our own plush. But we'll do 5 more questions, and then we'll see you guys if you're on the live. If you want to see me live again on Thursday, we're gonna sell all this stuff.
MNB says, what is a good click-through rate and sales conversion rate for a small seller? I have 140 everything listings, but now trying to find a niche.
That's right. Great sell-through rate would be 1 to 2 sales a day. If you have 140 in your store, 1 per 100 is a good place to start for a beginner. If you're not a beginner, it's okay to have lower than that. That's my opinion. If you're a beginner, 1% or higher for 100 items, sell at least 1 a day. Also, an idea for Christina and I to make next week on Sunday, or this Sunday, we'll have a video on how to fix your store. So let's say you have a store and you're not getting 1 sale per 100. I'm gonna release a game plan for that Sunday. So let me know if that's something that you guys want. Do you guys want a repair style video? If so, I'm gonna make it anyway. Sunday it'll come out, and I think that question comes up a lot.
Let's see.
Appreciate you guys too. Smash the like button, consider subscribing.
Kamelson, do you think instead of a storage unit, I was thinking of purchasing a 10 by 20 foot heavy duty tent, which I believe would be the best situation to store my items.
I would love that. So if you have a space to do a big blow up tent, like a grow tent, I would say Godspeed. That sounds really affordable because you don't have to do the construction. As long as you have air flowing through it, I think you would be completely fine in the space. Here, there's nowhere for me to put that. But it is really expensive. I pay $2,307 for rent. So hopefully I can get somewhere cheaper. Also, I got the notice that it's going to go up. So I'm sure it will go up $50 since that's been what's been happening. They've been increasing my rent about $50 once in a while. So it'll probably be $23.57 and $24.07. This is one of the things that makes me worry about eBay. So because the rent's going up, I need to find better items. That's the only solution I can think of, because getting a bigger and bigger store scares me. I think 10,000 is where it's at.
People are saying yes to the repair video.
Nice. So Sunday repair video.
Okay, we will make it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, also in the repair video is going to be 2 things. One, repairing your listing so they'll sell. The other one is changing to this type of system. So a lot of people had asked, what's the best way of changing my old inventory system to a date-based system? We'll throw that in there. So 2-part eBay repair video.
Hollywood reseller, in your opinion, do you see Mercari stepping up their game and seeing a huge increase of more buyers buying on Mercari as well in the future, or will it stay where it's at?
Absolutely not. Mercari is a buying platform for consumers, not for professional sellers. So they will continue to grow their user base for people just buying and selling a couple of things from their closet. This is the proof of the pudding. Mercari paid me $5,000 to tell people to use it as a buying app. Okay, I say on the video I don't sell on Mercari. They were 100% okay with that. Okay?
Yeah.
That's odd, right? There's no way eBay would say, let's make a video talking about how you don't sell on eBay. They were happy for me to be honest and say, I don't use the platform because I'm a professional seller. There's no tools for statistics. I don't know how to run a sale on Mercari. I can't run a sale. I can't do a newsletter marketing to my people. Combined shipping is a hassle. I can't even put a quantity of 2 for an item. If I sell an item, I've got to start over again and list the exact same item. It's not built for sellers, it's built for consumers. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, that's crazy to me, right? Mercari is interested in being a buying platform, which is great for Mercari. And I said, use Mercari to buy items. And that's been great. Use code Daily Refinement. I got like probably, this is why Mercari was okay with it. Probably 500 people from my audience went on the Mercari and bought something to resell on eBay. That's what I would use it for. And that's also what I would use Whatnot for. Whatnot is full of really good deals because auctions don't end for enough money. So that's how I would do it.
Nick is asking, how much does eBay pay you?
eBay doesn't pay me. It's such
Yeah.
bullshit. It's such bullshit. I'm even
doesn't
risking
pay.
demonetizing myself because that's how I feel. Garbage. They should be paying Tech, my partner, millions of dollars for his method because it's, you know, I'm so frustrated by the fact that they don't pay. Honestly, it's so frustrating because I learned how to sell on eBay from YouTube. So I learned, shout out to Rockstar Flipper, Nicole State. That's how I learned eBay back in the day, right? Back in the day, I went on the YouTube, I typed in how to sell on eBay. Rake and Profit showed up saying, blazing profits. Let me show you guys how to make money selling blazers at Goodwill. I didn't even know that existed. That's where people are getting their information. Why wouldn't eBay say, yo, we've got Jacqueline coming on Thursday, 4 p.m. from eBay. She's going to come into your store, show people what we think are best practices. Why doesn't eBay send somebody here and say, look, everyone out there, this is how we want titles, right? This is how you should price your item. That makes no sense. I could say price every single item at $1 and 1,000 people would do that. Why wouldn't they get ahead of the curve and actually pay me to do that? I have to make my own resources. There are no assets. This is how crazy it is. I think I'm in one of the highest tiers for eBay influencers. There's a chart somewhere in the background of influencers. Sometimes it's not a survey that says, what YouTubers do you watch? I'm on that list. I'm on the multiple choice, right? This is what happens. They invite me to an event, make me sign an NDA. The last one, the winter update, I went on a Tuesday. They gave me some swag to give to my audience, which is cool. Tuesday, they said, sign an NDA. So I signed it. They released the update on Wednesday. What is the point of being an influencer when I only have one? First off, not paid, didn't get anything, didn't even get a Yeti mug, which I was okay with. The first time I went to eBay in San Jose, I drove an hour there to listen to them tell me something, to tell my audience. They gave me a Yeti mug. And I like eBay enough that I thought to myself, that was totally worth it. Joe spent 2 hours of my time driving, sat through this long thing, presented it to my audience, all for a Yeti mug, and I liked it. So, unfortunately, no. They should be writing a big fat check, but they don't. They will sponsor an event, though. So, shout out to Harry Tornado. If you guys go to his event with Phoenix Resale in the summer, I will be at that event, and I'm hoping I can do an event earlier in the day where we go over sort of the nuts and bolts, because that's more of a networking style event. I want to do a nuts and bolts type of an event, maybe before. So if you guys go to that event in South Carolina, or it's either in South or North Carolina, I will be there. So it's going to be a grand old time, but it fires me up because eBay really should be paying, because it's ridiculous that how much money we've made them. If I had a link for click this button and open an eBay store, I might be able to afford to live in California. So I mean, all of this stuff, and I can barely survive here. So, and I'm not moving because Grandma lives here, and everyone says you should move, but then we would have no family, and it's not worth it. So, Grandma's here.
Mm-hmm.
Two more.
Okay, 2 more?
Yeah.
I had one. Oh no. I know someone was asking what are the changes, which maybe you want to
just to go over the changes again. eBay is moving away from getting new customers, and they're going for heavier customers, so better customers. So they want repeat buyers in watches, bags, collectibles, and sneakers. Those are their 4 heaviest focus. But to me, I think it's weird because Etsy, StockX, GOAT, The Real, Vinted, Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, whatnot, they're going after the same categories. So it's funny to me, either those 4 categories are where all the money's at and everyone's moving there, or maybe all these companies, including eBay, they're all run by millennials and that's what millennials want. I don't know. It's interesting.
And then a question from James Sims. We only sell on eBay. People keep telling us to use Posh and Mercari, but we don't want to learn new systems. We focus on knowing eBay. You think that's okay?
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't sell on Poshmark and Mercari anymore, and I'm happy. I mean, Mercari told me it was okay to say I don't even sell on the platform and I only use it to buy. So that's very fascinating to me. I don't know what you guys think. You guys saw all the YouTubers posted Mercari videos. We don't sell on Mercari. I think I'm not the only YouTuber that does not sell on Mercari. So I find that really, really, really fascinating. Can you believe that? If you were sponsoring a video and they said that they didn't use your product, that's, but appreciate you guys. We'll be live back here on every single Monday. Let me know if you guys liked it, and we'll see you next time.
And we'll be live on Thursday.
Live on Thursday.
Yeah.